G'day and welcome back to Torment Thursdays. Last time round we got a really suspicious quest from this Omidon fella, One True Love, where, well, apparently we're tracking down his true love, except she's also a little bit crazy, and that doesn't seem entirely right. So we'll see, but I'm very suspicious of him at this point in time. It sounds much more like he wants us to help him kidnap an unwilling woman and then let her run off with him. Him run off with her, rather. And that seems super sus to me. Alright, let's keep talking to people. Here is Sylph. This pretty young woman stands unnaturally still. Suddenly, her large glassy eyes spring to life with a rattle and quickly lock with yours, before just as quickly snapping away. Her skin is as fair as porcelain, but cracked beneath several layers of dirt and faded makeup. On the side of her neck, you see what appears to be a small tattoo of vertical lines with glyphs etched at the bottom. For a moment, familiarity overwhelms you, disappearing as a minute shudder runs down her arms. Her gaze snaps back to your face, but no your eyes. She's staring at your tattoo. Jerkily, her hand raises to touch her own. Well met. I'm called Sylph. You note the slight pause before she pronounces her name. Her voice has a purring quality, under which you hear the spinning of countless gears. She coughs, just once, and a small greenish cloud emerges from between her lips. How did you come by that mark? Let's try and remember where we've seen that tattoo before. You hear an echo of yourself, and see in front of you a strange old man, gnarled by time and rabid with expectation. On his neck, weathered and sagging, you see the same series of vertical lines etched into his skin, a faded map to a time or place that no longer exists. An inadmissible period of time has elapsed without answer. Conclusion. I will rephrase the question, she says as memory fades. How did you come to have those marks upon your skin? The usual way. There are many ways that may be usual. Her throat works for a few moments before she opens her mouth, exhaling a wisp of greenish gas. The purpose is to be enigmatic. Understood. She regards you, head tilting to the side with a series of small ratcheting noises. You have the absurd impression the emotion is meant to be flirtatious. I hope you will answer another question for me. I have a riddle that it may please you to answer, she says, brushing her hair coquettishly from her bare shoulders. It is very old. She pauses a moment, then recites from memory. What comes in with breath and out with a word, transmutes upon death, but can't be conferred. The words sound vaguely familiar, resonating in your mind even after she's stopped speaking. Transmutes upon death but can't be conferred. In with breath, out with a word. Life, maybe? Try to remember where I've heard the riddle before. Sound familiar, but something about them subtly wrong. When you think you've grasped the differences, it slips from your mind. You're left only with Sylph's expectant gaze. So I don't think we're going to go with love or glory. I mean, glory I guess can't be conferred, but what? Consciousness seems slightly wrong there as well. Let's go with life. An adequate answer, she says, but incorrect. She raises one hand to form a curious sign with her fingers. When she goes to release it, however, her index stays frozen in place, and it takes her some moments to disengage it. I have one last question to ask of you. You may not have an answer. She looks beyond you, remaining still for some moments while the gears inside her stomach clatter and whine. Then she meets your gaze again and asks her question. What would you do if you met someone who had succeeded in your life's work before you? and they refuse to share your method. Oh wow, beg them to tell me. Kill them, find my own method, find a new life's work. Find my own method. That will be doubtless difficult. The darkness behind her eyes whirls with glints of metal as her pupils fully dilate. They snap back to normal and she bows slightly. I wish you luck in your endeavor. I have no more questions for you. Let's examine her more closely. 40% chance. It's just hard. We got no training, no edge. No, we don't succeed. That's fine. Nothing so sophisticated could possibly be created by the people of the Ninth World, so she must be millennia old at least. Your sire knew a great deal about the automatons of the past, and your sense itself and her ilk were known to him, but you can't remember any details. Let's try and remember where we've seen her before. Nope. Who are you? I am Sylph. She states simply, I am at your service. Farewell. Alright, let's talk to Mr. Tarnak Obbs. This man's brows creased with worry. He avoids your gaze and his eyes fixed on a point to your left and far away. His trembling, battered fingers pluck at the air. He stares through the chattering customers at the bar as though he's utterly alone. Stepping closer, you see a thick blue crease running down his throat into the depths of his heavy robes, and orderly rows of azure holes pierce his bony arms from elbow to wrist. Discord, he says as you approach. Scarred melody. Too many voices. Hurts. His voices stream out one by one in a subdued and continuous monotone, tumbling over each other as if in a blind rush to escape. So did the man. He does not meet your eyes as you step closer to him. Instead, he winces as though your presence is somehow painful to him. You watch him move and track the twitching of his fingertips. You hear a low, vibrating whistle, though it is not coming from his mouth. What are you doing here? Wayfarers bring me broken Numenera. I repair them for pay. I need to eat! He cries, and you don't think you're the target of his anger. The Wayfarers thank me, he says, swallowing. They do not know I have remade the Numenera. They do not know they will also be remade. Can you remake any of my Numenera? Instead of asking to see your belongings, he looks at you. For the first time, his pupils are as dark as the space between stars. No, he says after a long moment. His eyes flick back towards whatever distant, terrible place has so captured his attention. You're wounded. A broken instrument. He has no use for you. Okay, you didn't even look at my belongings, though. Do I have anything? No, you're worthy, but broken. This time he doesn't look at you. What are you staring at? The grand hall, the spiral pinned by broken columns, the invisible roof. He stops with a gasp, and a tear rolls down his dirty cheek. He tells me not to share our secrets with you. You are not of the choir. You are Discord. A cold wind rolls down from the rooftop, flicking at his tagged robes. I've never heard of the ruins of which you speak. He gasps, clutching at his chest. Beneath the man's agony, you sense otherworldly indignation and ageless despair, deep as oceans. Not ruins, fallen to the foundations, yes. A car will rise once more when the choir awakens. His gaze meets yours. The conductor will reward your curiosity and allow me to tell you what I have seen. You need only ask. I wish to know what you've seen. Before my coming, I had found a pit ringed by stone deep in Arvenwood. Broken pillars at the edges. I stepped inside, breathed the dusty air. He pauses, passing his shaking hand over his mouth. I was lost in the grand hall for days, decades. Pillars twisting like hallways, spiraling. The ringing of bells, whirling chandeliers, listening to the song of the lost choir. I was an audience becoming an instrument. Finally I slept, and I awoke here on the heights. Okay, what do you think you're becoming? Oh, whoops, there's also this bit. He took my voice, the man says, his eyes dull in distance. But my blood sings. I am becoming. I dream, and I remake Numenera for the Wayfarers, so they will become and dream as well. And together we will go into the forest, to the ring where the Grand Hall once stood, and rebuild. What do you think you're becoming? An instrument, he says, swaying. A doorway. Before I remade Numenera, now I wake and find the devices the conductor has made for me. He is generous. Look, he says, smiling and pulling aside his robes to bare his bony chest. Countless devices are embedded in his flesh, looping bloodlessly in and out of his ribs, linked by tubes or wire to an opalescent sphere at the base of his throat. Okay, that is pretty weird. You said that you dream. What of? Proud Eka at its peak, he says, gaze locked on the distant ruins of the city. Instrument of metal and flesh ringing the balconies from the Grand Hall. The conductor, our heir, breathing him in forever. Okay. Wacky. So there's another way up here, I suspect from the underbelly. Atop the nearby plateau, you can just make out the top of a small dome of scintillating blue energy. Okay, give her a merchant. The dry lands are wearing on me. I must return to Mirajolas soon. Vargellan child? We're not supposed to land here. Our airship nearly crashed and we were gonna die. I thought we were gonna die anyway. Let's talk to this fella. This scrawny old man practically rattles inside a dull, dented armor that was clearly made for someone bigger than him. Nonetheless, his eyes burn with a bottomless fire, and his smile, as fierce as it is genuine, flashes beneath his greying thicket of a beard. Another night, he bellows, clapping your shoulders with his gauntleted hands. You barely keep your feet. The man stronger than looks. Another hero in search of great adventure. You stand before the wandering knight Quijano del Toboso. What brings you to the summit of Mount Theodore? Why do you call this Mount Theodore? It's a city, not a mountain. A city, he says, his sweat-beaded brow drawing together. Your senses must have deserted you in your ascent. The heat has baked you in your armor. He lays a gentle hand on your shoulder, turning you to the horizon. Do not allow delirium to blind you to your accomplishments, good knight. You have scaled the very heights of Mount Theodore, the tooth of the world beast. Adventure lies in every shadow below us. Every sparkle of light is a quest, ready for the taking. What brings you up here? Do you know? I'm not quite sure. My memory's not what it was. I was kneeling before my family's armor in our estate some time ago. Maybe I was weeping. He smashes his gauntlet against his chest, leaving a sizable dent. I can't recall, and it doesn't matter. But then I heard a thunderous roar, and beheld a great beast in the skies. I donned my armor and gave chase. What kind of beast was it? It defied description, and so I shall describe it only to defy impossibility itself. 13 legs, 6 jaws, 1,000 eyes, glitter with malice and flame, scales the color of clouds. Yeah, alright, go on. That horrible beast leered down at me, promising destruction. I promised her death, and it fled across the sky. I followed, darting between the trees. I don't quite recall much after that. I remember walking, having various adventures along the way, of course, but I can't quite recall why I came here. Ah, of course, I must have had the frankly brilliant notion of scaling this lonely mountain to better spot the beast from afar. Alas, I've seen nothing so far. Your beast sounds like a particularly large cloud, and I'm pretty sure you ran into a tree. A cloud, he says, chuckling. A tree? Perils facing us in this world of wonders are not so mundane. You said you're looking for adventure? Yes, but I feel I must speak plainly. Too many people have mistaken me for a common mercenary. I'm not interested in entangling myself in local quarrels. I will not hunt a beast that cannot hunt me in return. And if I'm to fight, it must be against a foe of such wickedness that the stars themselves would wink out rather than shine upon a world that could harbour such malevolent creatures. Let's go with the murderers loose in the underbelly. I need help finding clues. That fiend, he says, beard trembling with outrage. Alas, I cannot help you. A knight must know his weaknesses again, as well as his strengths. And, investigation has not been my strong suit. Good luck hunting, my friend. Good luck. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else to chat with you about. Let's go talk to the Vera goon. Then I think we're basically done with this area. There's nothing to talk over here. A man in a brigandine coat stands in front of the heavy wooden gate. His arms are crossed, his feet firmly planted. You got business with the Vera? No, I don't. Lucky for you, then. You know someone named Zevak Urlau? He works in the Vera and his son's looking for him. Zevak? Yeah. Served with him in a bloom. Ain't seen him since boss lady poisoned me out here. Couldn't tell you where he is now. What's on the other side of the door? A road goes down the side of the cliff towards the bloom. No one gets by unless boss lady says a word. Looking for a tall, beautiful woman with purple hair. Ain't we all? The lovesick cock who keeps telling me about his girlfriend, and keep telling him the same thing. Ain't seen no purple-haired ladies. Truth is, if she did pass by here, probably stop at the inn. You might want to find Miss Purple Hair by looking there first. Okay, who are the Vera? Boss Lady of the Bloom, she's always been in charge for about 10 years. Couldn't tell you what the title means. There's always been a Vera. Okay, so yeah, the Vera is the title of the person that controls that. I don't really see much point in hanging around here. Alrighty. Okay, so we haven't really explored this area too much this time around. Let's grab something from the fountain. Fountain's constructed of material that seems halfway between wood and stone. It doesn't contain water as might be expected. Instead it's filled with swarming tiny fish-like creatures that leap and cavort in a wriggling mass, chattering to each other in what sounds like 1,000 different tongues. Let's try and listen to them. You fold your arms, listening intently to the fish jabber at each other. It sounds like a cloud of nonsense syllables mashed into baby speak. Spend more time listening to them. They continue to gibber in a song of melodic syllables and broken words. Let's have a look at the fountain. The fountain, now that you're looking at it, is unfathomably old. Coppery, tongue-like decorations curl up over the rim of the structure, as if lapping at the endless stream of creatures within. Same thing, and catch. Yeah, we can spend some effort. Put some effort in. You deftly snatch a single fish from the glistening, tumbling flood. The bubbling mass of remaining creatures walk together in nonsensical outrage. Try and grab another. Close your hand around another fish. Tiny teeth chomp at the flesh between your fingers, and you release it with a curse. So, that is this thing. You caught this fish-like creature from a fountain of sorts in Government Square. Small, fish-like, constantly squirming, never seems to require food or nourishment, and gibbers constantly in an indecipherable language. Okay, what else do we have? Really disappointed that we weren't able to finally get down there, but maybe if I get them to kill the Stitches, I guess. That's a really unsatisfying answer. Alrighty. Sangolin, why not talk to you? A tall, thin, and exquisitely dressed older man stands in front of the shade of an exquisitely crafted store. The cut and colour and quality of his clothes are a symphony of harmonious coordination, while the expression of benevolent condescension he gives you more at home on the face of a king. "Good afternoon," he says. "I am Sangolin, and this is my store. Sangolin's Fittings. Welcome. How may I be of service?" What do you sell here? "I sell the finest cityware for discerning men and women, as well as quality armor for those traveling to less civilized locales." He clears his throat and directs your attention to a well-dressed mannequin wearing the badge of the city official. "Also, it's our honor to have been chosen to provide the city of Sega's Cliffs with the official badges worn by all properly credentialed city employees, so you may have trust in their trust in us." What do you got? I don't really have a whole lot of stuff here. Oh, that's the item they have. So like, ooh, okay. We can get a cloak that's nice, so it gives us energy resistance. We can get a couple of other things. This will give us armor. Yeah, okay. We could get a thing for a child, which I guess would come up. Brigadine, leather jerkin. So it's basically only the last cast stuff gets to actually grab armor. We have a legend that tells of a nano obsessed with electricity creating a cloak, perhaps this cloak, to protect him against the dangers of facing him in his studies. Tales tell he was on the brink of full control over natural and artificial electricity, but he ironically died during a thunderstorm, throwing his cloak away while shouting, "I got it!" Sweet. Oh, right. I didn't actually mean to try and buy that, but whatever. It's fine. Let's... Oh, I just sold it? Yes, I did. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, so there's mostly quests I did last time we could do, or talking to people. The thing is, like, I'm really annoyed that I seem stuck with that that Makina quest. I guess I think the next step is to get a kid Mutant Stitcher killed. But I don't want to do it, that's why I'm delaying. Bubbles orbit the structure, holes in space. Yeah, okay. Let's look through the orbiting holes in space. Signal beam shoots out of the hole and strikes you dead in the eye. It doesn't hurt in the slightest. Instead, your mind is filled with the mouth-watering image of a slider of grilled something and the chummy tones of an advertiser pitch in a language you don't recognize. So this is just advertising? This generator combines a huge number of mismatched parts into a functional whole. Once again, you notice the circonate symbol etched into the side with like a maker's mark. Look for the holes again. You lock your eyes on a hole watching its orbit. Sometimes the buildings it passes in front of are still there. Sometimes they're on fire. Most of the time, nothing lies beyond the hole but blackened waste and whirling dust. Leave the generator alone. There's also this gate. Towering above you is an enormous archway of metal and synth. Energy pulses through the structure, spiraling from thin, transparent symbols and subtle shades of gold and cyan. Let's have a look. It appears to be dormant, but very much alive. The archway emits a low and constant hum, just at the edge of your hearing. Across the top, illuminated words are inscribed, "The House of Empty Time." Heavy rope-like cables connect the archway to the strange generator nearby. Not as impressive as it looks. The real work has been done by the generator there. He points at the ancient device that's connected to the archway by a number of cables. Someone must have channeled the temporal energies to retrieve some purpose of their own. It's a hack job. Must have been an Aeon priest. Still, it was worth 2 XP. Elegant, you studied this before. Once or twice, years ago. It was long before I came to the Sagas. Used to hear stories about kids disappearing when they walked under the arch. Never saw it myself. You scan the parts of the device that are accessible from the ground. You don't see anything that resembles a control device. Finally, you give up your search. If the arch can be activated at all, its method is unclear. Okay, I think we're going to leave it here for today. Next time, I'm not sure what we'll do. Maybe we'll try and recruit Tiber and go back and deal with the peerless drones. How close are we to leveling? Reasonably far. I think we'll look at betraying a small child. As frustrating as that is, I think I'm pretty stumped on that quest otherwise. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.